If you ever hear 3 knocks on your door after 1 a.m., don't open it. No matter who calls your name, no matter how familiar the voice is, the third knock is not a person. I used to think rules like that were stupid. Urban legends, stories neighbors tell kids so they sleep early. But everything changed when I moved into a building called Shanti House and met an old man who knew what was waiting in the dark. My name is Rohan. I moved into the building 3 years ago because it was cheap. Old paint, cracked walls, a staircase that echoed even if you walked barefoot. My apartment was on the 5th floor. Above it, a small terrace that was always locked. The first week was normal. Work, food, sleep. Nothing strange. Then one evening, as I was taking boxes inside, a thin man stepped out from the apartment across mine. White hair, tired eyes. He spoke softly. "New tenant?" I nodded. He smiled like he already knew my answer. "My name is Verma. I live here. If you need anything, knock." Before leaving, he said something I laughed at back then. He said, "After 1 in the morning, don't open the door if someone knocks, especially not the third knock. And if someone calls your name, don't reply. That's how it enters." I thought he was joking. I said, "Scary stories?" He didn't smile. He just walked away. That night, I fell asleep early. 2 weeks passed. Nothing happened. I forgot about his warning. Then, one night, around 1:18 a.m., when the world outside is empty and the lights feel too bright in a silent room, someone knocked on my door. Knock. Knock. 2 gentle knocks, like the person outside was being polite. I froze. Not out of fear, but confusion. Who visits at that time? I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, lights humming, walls yellow from age. Nobody there. I almost opened it. I don't know why, but I remembered Verma's words. So I stepped back. No third knock came. Silence returned. I went to sleep. The next night was quiet. The next, quiet. I started believing it was just my imagination. Then came the night that proved it wasn't. Around 12:45, I finished a call with my friend. I laid down, fan spinning, dark room. At exactly 1:11 a.m., I sat up without knowing why, like my body woke before my mind. Then I heard it. Knock. Knock. Same pattern. Slow. Soft. Precise. I walked to the door again, looked through the peephole. Empty. This time I got angry. I said loud enough to be heard. "Who's there?" The moment I said it, everything changed. Because from the other side of the door, a voice answered. Using my voice. Not similar, not close, exact. My tone, my accent, my breath. "It's me. Open the door." I felt my heart drop into my stomach. Because I was inside the apartment. So what was speaking outside? The voice sounded hollow, like it was learning how to speak, like someone had heard me once and was copying me. I didn't reply. I stood perfectly still. The voice spoke again. "Open the door. I'm you." Then the third knock came. Knock. Loud, not polite anymore, like something heavy hit the wood. Then silence. I stayed awake until morning. The next day, I went straight to Verma's apartment. He opened the door before I knocked a second time, like he was waiting for me. He didn't look surprised. He only asked, "Did you answer it?" I told him everything, the knock, the voice, the third knock. He listened like he had heard it 100 times before. Then he said something that stayed with me forever. It learns. First, it knocks like a stranger. Then it knocks like someone you know. Then it knocks like you. The third knock is never human. I asked him what it was. He said the building was old, but the thing inside was older. Older than the walls, older than the land, older than language. He told me a story. Years ago, a family lived in my apartment. A man, his wife, 2 children. No one knew he was violent. He looked gentle outside. At home, he was another person. One night, neighbors heard screams. No one opened their doors. In the morning, the wife and children were found dead. The man had hung himself. After that, people started hearing knocks at 1 a.m. 2 soft knocks, then a loud one. Those who opened the door were never the same again. Some moved away without saying goodbye. Some were found hanging in their apartments, the same way. Police blamed depression, but everyone who lived there whispered something else. It waits for someone to answer. Once it has your voice, it doesn't knock from outside anymore. I told Verma I never opened the door. I never answered the knock. He stared at me for a long moment, then said, "You answered when you shouted, 'Who's there?' You gave it your voice. It doesn't need to enter from the door anymore. It enters through sound, through memory, through recognition." I went cold, because that meant it already had a piece of me. That night, I packed my bags. I decided to leave before 1 a.m. Around 12:50, I picked up my bag and went to lock the door. As I touched the handle, I heard a voice behind me. My mother's voice. Soft, warm, loving. "Open the door, Beta. It's me. I'm tired." My eyes filled instantly. Because my mother was alive, yes, but she was in another city. And that sentence, she used to say it when she came home late from work when I was a kid. Only she and I remembered that. My throat closed. I didn't turn around. I didn't look. Then the third knock came. Knock. So strong, the door shook. The voice behind me laughed quietly. Not with joy, with hunger. I ran out of the building and went straight to Verma's apartment. He let me in. He sat me on the floor, lit a small oil lamp. He told me the only rule left. If it speaks, don't repeat the words. Never mirror its voice. That is an invitation. We sat there until morning. Around 5 a.m., I fell asleep on the floor. When I woke, I was alone. Verma was lying near the door, eyes open, body still. The doctor said heart failure, but I saw the way his hand had traced a circle around himself, like he was trying to protect me as long as he could. I moved out that same day. New building, new city, new life. For 3 months, nothing happened. Then one night, after a late shift, I entered my apartment. Time 1:02 a.m. I closed the door, dropped my keys, and heard it. Knock, knock. 2 soft knocks. I stared at the door, frozen. Nobody knew I lived here. Nobody knew this apartment. I walked to the peephole. No one outside. Then I heard a sound. Not from the hallway. From the kitchen. A voice, my voice, repeating the exact words I had said months ago. "Who's there?" The same tone, the same breath, the same fear. It wasn't mocking from outside anymore. It wasn't trying to enter. It was already inside. And it was learning how to be me. So, if you ever hear knocking after 1 a.m., 2 soft knocks, then silence, remember something. The third knock is not a person. The voice calling your name is not someone you love. And the reply you hear might not be coming from outside your door. It might be coming from inside your own voice. And once you answer it, it will learn you, your sound, your breath, your memories, until one day someone else hears a knock and your voice says, "Open the door."